I think that many times people associate, quote, good lawyering with the type of writing that you do when you're talking to the Supreme Court or you're talking to a judge, you're citing case law, and all of that's part of the job. But when I talk about lawyering, I'm not talking so much about the written part of it. I'm talking about talking with your client, talking with the jury, talking with opposing counsel. All of this becomes so much easier if we just treat people like regular people.
What's up, you guys? We're here at the Defray Show. This is Jean-Paul, and I'm here sitting with Nicole. And
Hi,
we
guys.
have a special guest today, you guys. We have the Ryan Medler, who has been an attorney for how long now, Ryan? You want to introduce yourself? I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, don't
Please do.
apologize. Thank you guys for having me. This is awesome. Thank you so much.
Great. I know. We're happy you're here. This is
I
awesome.
appreciate it. 7 years now.
7 years.
So I'm,
Wow.
but this is my first podcast. So
Wow.
I'm
Look
a
at
little
that.
nervous, but I'm excited. This should be fun.
I'm glad to hear that. Well, it is a world of fun.
I love Ryan, by the way. The first time we met him, like, this guy has the best dancing skills
Yeah.
you will ever see. Like, any person who wants to learn how to dance,
Follow Ryan.
ask him. He will show you the moves. I
Facial
tell you.
expressions and everything. I love it. I love it. I can only do that after a few drinks, but you know.
Well,
I don't think you even had a drink that night. You were just kind of like partying.
Sometimes I should probably pretend like I had more drinks than I had, and that's the reason why the dancing comes out.
I love it.
But
Love it.
sometimes you can't control the hips.
Yeah. They just start moving.
So I want to talk about, you come from like some legal legacy.
I do.
Tell me about it. I know your parents. Like, you know what? You just
Well,
tell
you
the
don't
story.
know his parents.
Well, I don't know his parents.
Okay,
I know, but
I'm just making sure you
you come from a background of personal injury attorneys. So
I sure do.
Tell me about this.
and they would love to meet you.
Maybe we'll have them next.
Yeah, that would be great. My parents, John and Tammy, are personal injury attorneys, and they have been my whole life. And they're really who inspired me to get into this from a very young age. When other kids, in kindergarten, like as young as kindergarten, are saying, "Oh, I want to be a baseball player when I grow up. I want to be an astronaut." I was literally saying, "I want to be a personal injury trial attorney."
No way.
I was, which is like very
That's
strange.
awesome.
But this is what I've always wanted to do. I just have seen from a young age how much good these types of cases can do, and they can help these people that really need it.
Yeah.
Being a voice for people who don't otherwise have it.
Absolutely.
And it's just always inspired me. So my dad was my first mock trial coach in 7th grade.
Right on.
And then he continued helping me out through mock trial all through high school. And then I joined the UCLA mock trial team and the New York Law School mock trial team. And they would always come to all my competitions.
Wow.
I worked for them for all through college and law school. And then now that I'm an attorney, they come to all my trials and I talk to them about the law every single day.
Love it.
They definitely have been the biggest influence on me.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
I bet. That's awesome.
So you have been practicing law now for 7 years. So after just only 7 years, you've been able to secure like settlements and multi-million-dollar verdicts. Also been nominated for Super Lawyer and been
Right.
selected as a finalist for the CAALA Rising Star Award. Tell us about that. Like that is quite an achievement for only 7 years.
Yeah. How does it feel?
Thank you. You guys can introduce me anywhere I go. That's so nice of you. It feels great. Obviously the verdicts are great and the settlements are great. But the thing that I'm really the most proud of over the past few years is just the voice that we've given to our clients. Obviously the wins are amazing, but every time that we get up there and the client gets a chance to tell their story, that's a win. They get to speak truth to power. They get to go and have their truth told to the world. And so that's really what I'm proud of. And obviously the ones that we've been able to be successful, those ones are the ones that, give you goosebumps, that make a difference. The money that we're able to secure, the compensation, it helps them pay for stuff that they need to do, their necessities, their medical treatment, but it also helps them get some of that happiness back, some of that was taken away from them. One of my favorite memories from last year was after our big $9 million lawsuit. It involved a woman who was living in a terrible, dilapidated building. and she ended up falling down a set of stairs that weren't properly maintained. And in addition to bringing a claim against them for premises liability, we also brought a claim for habitability because this building was just disgusting and no one should be forced to live there.
Yeah.
So we were successful. We won her a lot of money. And then last Christmas, she was able to spend that money to go and buy herself a beautiful new house.
Oh, wow.
So she went from living in this, terrible, dingy place that was literally dangerous to this beautiful dream home. And she invited me to her Christmas party and I got to go and she made pupusas for all of us. And she was there and, you walk in and you walk past a big table full of all her medicines. She's still walking funny. It's not like she's the same person she was before, but she got some of her life back. She got some of her happiness back, and I could just see that she was happy. And so those are the moments that you're really the most proud of, when we're able to give some of that humanity back to our clients.
Absolutely.
And that's why we do it.
So with education wise, I know you're part of the Gerry Spence.
Yeah. Gerry Spence Academy. Gerry Spence Trial Lawyers College is what it's called.
So you graduated from that.
I sure did.
So do you want to share your experience on that? Like, I know we kind of discussed shortly, like with your parents being trial attorneys and, so you started kind of getting schooled at, 7th grade and beyond. So what was that experience at Gerry Spence on top of what your parents trained you?
Sure. Yes. Yeah, no, it's funny. My dad's actually the first one that told me about Gerry Spence 20, 30 years ago. He played me one of Gerry's most famous closing arguments that he did, which involves a metaphor involving a bird in the hand. So I had always been a fan of Gerry Spence and I had read his books and known about him. But then it was in 2022, I got a chance to actually go out to Du Bois, Wyoming, which is where they do it. Essentially, it's beautiful out there, but it's essentially in the middle of nowhere. Mm-hmm. And there's no Wi-Fi.
No cell phones.
Well, technically a cell phone, but without Wi-Fi, what's a cell phone?
Right.
But they do that on purpose. They really take you out of your element to really break you down to then build you back up. And so what they do at the trial colleges, yes, they teach you how to be a better lawyer and how to give better openings and closings and all that, which is great. But they teach you how to be more connected as a human. They teach you about yourself. They teach you about looking for the humanity in your client so that you can tell your client's story. They also teach you to look for the humanity in the defense, because nobody's here. There's no Snidely Whiplash with the big curly, evil mustaches here. We're all
right.
Yeah, we're all humans. And so what's important is understanding why people do the things they do. And defendants make mistakes, right? Mm-hmm. And so explaining them as three-dimensional people is important. And then obviously, even more importantly, is understanding your client's struggle and your client's story. And so what the Gerry Spence allowed me to do is to really get in touch with myself and to realize, how are we telling our stories? What are the ways we're doing it? Can we put all the legalese and all these big words aside? And can we just learn just to talk to people like regular people and tell them, look, this is what happened to this human. And, I think that it has affected the way that honestly, everything from intake up through trying a case. And I'm excited because I did the introductory program, but next year I'm hoping to go back and do the kind of graduate program. Because I will say that of all the different various programs I've gone to, it has by far affected me the most in the most beneficial way.
That's great.
Yeah.
By the way, I've my entire life I've spent so much time reading books and trying to learn all these big fancy words and stuff like that. But now I hear a lot of trial lawyers say how important it is to just speak, just speak normal. Right?
Speak normally.
So that everybody can understand.
Yes.
Who you are.
If you're on the jury and somebody says, my client has radiculopathy. What is that?
Yeah.
They say there's tingling down their legs, right? Yeah. If you talk to somebody, the other thing is that I think that many times people associate, quote, good lawyering with the type of writing that you do when you're talking to the Supreme Court or you're talking to a judge, you're citing case law, and all of that's part of the job. But when I talk about lawyering, I'm not talking so much about the written part of it. I'm talking about talking with your client, talking with the jury, talking with opposing counsel. All of this becomes so much easier if we just treat people like regular people. We use normal words and we just say, this is the situation. It also goes to addressing bad facts in a case, right?
Right.
If you have quote unquote bad facts, which is a term that people have used sometime. There's no such thing as bad facts. There's just the truth, right? So you need to be able to tell your whole truth, everything about your client, good facts, bad facts, all of it, and just say it with your chest. Say it in simple words. And so if your client was injured before the incident, you say that. You say, yeah, they were injured before the incident. But guess what? That doesn't mean that now you get out of jail free card and you get to go and hurt my client. Yeah, they were injured before and now they're injured worse. You made their condition worse. Right. And so keeping kind of all the legalese out of it and keeping it as straightforward as possible, I think is super important.
So regarding trial, what are some of the advice you'd give to, somebody who's just becoming a trial attorney, who's just learning the ropes and wants to learn more?
Well, first of all, you should find people who know what they're doing and you should work with them. I've had some amazing mentors over the years. And so that's super important. But what you want to do is first you want to get all the evidence you can, right? So you want to make sure you talk to your client thoroughly. You want to make sure that if your client already has seen any doctors, you get those medical records. If it's a case like a premises liability case, you want to get to the scene as soon as possible. Honestly, any type of case, you want to get to the scene as soon as possible, take as many photographs as possible, get your expert to the scene. Like if it's a premises case and you're saying this area is dangerous, get your expert to the scene as soon as possible before they change it. Then after you've started collecting the basic evidence, what you want to do is you want to think, this might sound backwards, but you want to start at the end. You want to think, what are the causes of action that I'm going to be making based upon the evidence that I have? And then when we get to the very end and we're in front of a jury and we have a verdict form, what are those elements I'm going to need to prove? Then you need to go set out getting the evidence you need to prove those various elements. And so that means obviously discovery. That means obviously taking depositions. That means obviously getting your client to the best medical treatment possible, making sure that they stay on their medical treatment, making sure that you're having conversations with their doctors, with them, making sure that they're following up on the plan, taking expert depositions, taking all the things we usually do. But one thing I would tell people that are just starting off is then think to yourself, what extra stuff can I do? What's something that we can take it to the next level to either get that settlement or to really get that awesome verdict? So an example of that is in a recent case that we had a few months ago. It was a construction case. In that case, a large piece of metal fell about 3 stories down and hit my client on the head. And they were claiming that even though there was this huge piece of metal that fell, they were saying it wasn't, because he had a hard hat on, they were saying it wasn't a severe enough injury to cause the traumatic brain injury that my client suffered. So we collected the evidence. We had the records from the doctors who said, yes, it is. We had a biomechanical expert who said, yes, it is. We had an animation, which is a great thing that you should do in cases like this. Pretty much any high value case, I highly, highly recommend getting an animation because that can help the jury see what's going on. It's amazing.
Picture learners.
100%. But in addition to all that, one thing we did in that case is we did a recreation. We said, oh yeah? You say it's not severe enough? Well, let's go see. And so we literally took our expert out to their facility and we set it up. We had a dummy that was standing there with a hard hat on.
Oh, gosh.
And he was wired up in the back and all throughout him with these wires that sensed the impact. Exactly. And then what we did is it was really fun. We spent all day. It was kind of like Mythbusters, chucking stuff off a building. Yeah.
I was going to say Mythbusters.
Mythbusters. Yeah. And we were just measuring, are these forces enough to cause it? And guess what? Go figure. Absolutely it was.
On the neck, a head, even with a helmet. Are you kidding me?
Of course it was. And so we have like all these different camera angles of it, and we have all of our evidence. 2 days later, our expert goes and he's deposed. 2 days after that, the case settles. So it's one of those cases that I was really happy about the settlement because the client was so happy, but also I was kind of bummed because I wanted to go to the jury and show them this awesome demonstration we did, So that's just one example of if you think you've done enough, you probably haven't. Think about what extra can I do to really make sure that there's no question whether it's in the defense attorney's mind. And that's the other thing is don't wait for discovery. Don't wait for them to ask you for medical records. Don't wait for them to ask you for stuff. If you have it, give it to them. Give it to the other side because that's the only way that they're going to be able to settle your cases is if they have all the evidence. And then similarly, when you get to court, don't assume that the jury understands everything, walk them through it piece by piece, plan it out. And yeah, it's a lot, but I like to say, if you've done the work, if you've taken in all the evidence, if you've done your plan, then if you get up there in your deposition or trial, whatever it is, and you don't do the best job you think you can do, if you've put in that work ahead of time, it will be enough. It absolutely will. You shouldn't worry about, oh, did I skip this one question here or whatever. If they have the big picture, they're going to get it.
So we want to know your little secret. How do you prep yourself? Do you have like a little like before trial? Like some people have these secrets, like they sing or they listen to loud music or something. I know a lot of people do a lot of studying and putting a lot of paperwork together. But when it's that drive from your home to trial on your first day, what do you do?
Good question.
Oh, I love that question. The first thing I will do is whatever it is that I'm doing that day, when I'm waking up in the morning, like let's say it's an opening statement, whatever it is, I do it. I practice it. So I make sure that I get that done and I've whatever, or if it's a cross-examination or directs or whatever it is, I've reviewed my notes, I've practiced it. I know that I'm going to be ready to go. Then once I'm ready to go, then it's time to take out the playlist, baby, because I want to get pumped up. So I got my trial playlist. So I got songs on there that are like the Rocky soundtrack, and I got exactly, baby, the Final Countdown, stuff like that, and I will play and I will pump myself up. I don't do what I used to do in law school, because in law school, right before we would take exams, what I would do, I was kind of infamous for this. I don't know if famous is the word, infamous for this. I would go into an open classroom and I would do a workout right beforehand. And I would do and I still do this on the morning of trial, but not right before trial, because I would be all sweaty. But I used to walk into exams all sweaty because I would do a workout, listen to my pump up music, have my headphones in, and I would come into class just ready to go, baby. And so I think that that's important. I think you got to pump yourself up. You got to be ready. You got to play your pump up music. You got to, whatever it is that gets you ready to go. Sometimes, I'll call my parents or I'll call your loved ones, and just know that you're getting an opportunity today to do the thing that you love. And what's awesome about what we do is we get to go and help people. And so you should get juiced up about it and get excited. And I always tell that to people, especially before their first trial. The same thing with people studying for the bar exam. I always tell them, if it's the day before the bar, there's nothing you're going to learn today that's going to help you. You've done all the work. You put the work in. The day before, watch one of your favorite movies. Go and eat that nice meal that you need. Whatever it is to get you in the right headset so that you're not so stressed.
Right. Got too much in your head. Yeah.
Super important. Yeah.
Wow, that's very cool.
I think that's how I prepare. Every time coming in the office, it's like very loud music. I'm maxed out on my speaker. So looking ahead, what sorts of cases or legal innovations are you most excited to pursue?
Well, I want to continue pursuing these serious catastrophic cases the way I've been pursuing, but some of the things, one area that I think is really exciting for the future is AI. I'm already using AI in everything from pleadings to preparing for depositions to during trial to making medical chronologies. I use AI for all sorts of stuff, but I'm excited to see the new areas that we'll be able to see AI in the future.
I was going to say, we actually have a magazine coming out with AI.
Oh, I love that.
I mean, like, it's talking AI about it. Not with AI, yeah, but it's AI based, and it's really great information. You should check it out.
I can't wait to check it out. Yeah, man. I nerd out over this AI stuff. I love it in non-legal context, but especially for what we do. So I can't wait to check it out.
Please do.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for being a part of our D for A show. And again, Ryan Medler, thank you so much for being on our show.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely,
this has been a pleasure. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
JP and Nikki, I'm a big fan of the show, and I will continue being one. Thank you so much.
All right, let's do it. Thank you, guys. Have a good day. Oh, last thing before I forget. Listen to me. I said have a good day. Come on.
Don't
like,
forget.
share, and subscribe, and make sure you show this to somebody. Show a friend. Show somebody who might need this information. We got a guy here who has so much energy, and he's such a great person. You can just tell. Make sure you watch the show and share it with somebody. Thanks, guys.
I was going to say, if anybody ever has questions about what we talked about here, or has a case that you need help with a referral, or just wanting some help from me, I would love to help everybody. I think that's how we all get through this, is by mentoring each other and helping each other and being there for each other. So yeah, please reach out. You can reach me at my email, which is ryanandrewmedler@gmail.com, or you can reach me on Instagram at rmedler.
All right, guys. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you liked the show today. And make sure you like, share, and subscribe.